Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally, and I mean finally, going to review our May 15th budget. Yes, it is July and we're going over our May 15th budget. I recorded this the same day that I recorded our June budget with me, so don't worry, I'm just finally getting around to editing it and all that other good stuff now. It's been a bit. I'm going to start off by going through our expense tracker. I like to color code our expense tracker, as you can see. And when I do our tallies, I don't do them as like a checkbook register kind of thing. I do it as a tally per category. So this dark blue that I'm doing is our medical category, and I'm adding up some allergy medications that I was prescribed like the day before. So one of the questions that gets asked is, how do you divide up these categories? Do you divide them up at the register? Do separate transactions? Do you just divide it up later? And honestly, it just depends. It really depends. Currently, we are not using a cash budget in the strictest sense. We are dividing up our budgeting categories, but we are not using cash. What I do is I just do it all in one transaction. Just get me out of there and be done. And then I go through later and divide it out. Target is wonderful in their receipts in that they already kind of categorize it out for me. And as you can see here, I have a great big pink line going down the side, and then I've got some purple dots and some yellow dots. Each of these colors corresponds to the categories you see on my expense tracker. Total for that transaction was $139.74, and as you can see, I write the total on the margin. I hope that helps in kind of dividing out your different categories. Whether you use cash or you're using categories with debit expenses, this is just one way you can divide out these categories and still keep all your things in one transaction. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to erase the pencil markings that I have on here. Every week when I go through and kind of reevaluate our budget, I will go through and write in pencil what our running total is so far for these categories. And it kind of helps to give me an idea of how we are doing on our budget. And then I'm going to go to these budget review pages and fill in our categories and how much we budgeted for in each category and spent in each category. The categories I have going down from the top are food, household, fuel, pet, miscellaneous, therapy, and medical. And then below that, I'm also writing in masks, clothing, pool, and garden. So you can see there, I budgeted $650 for food. We ended up spending $681.38. The biggest reason for this is food prices have been going up in our area, and I'm sure our area is not the only area that this is affecting. I can't really change what food prices are for some things. I can only change our budget and adapt to it. And so for June, for our June paycheck, I had actually budgeted $700 for food. For household items, I budgeted $160 and we ended up spending $170.78. And the note that I put here on the side was that it was basically organization and stocking up on things. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in our area, there is a shortage of things. Some things just aren't in stock. And when I notice that something that we use often, Cascade dishwasher detergent is a big one here. It's usually not in stock where we are. And so when I notice that it's back in stock, I'll grab the one that we usually use, whether we need it or not. Fuel, no surprise there. I budgeted $250 and we spent $51.01. Pet, I budgeted $190 and we spent $335.69. This is not the first month we have gone over on our pet budget. In my June budget with me, there will be more on this coming, but at the time with our May budget, it was basically because we were trying to find toys that she's not destroying in like, a week. We needed to get her a new harness, and there were just some other purchases, we didn't really account for, and 6 months worth of flea and heartworm medication. So that's kind of why that one's a little higher. Miscellaneous. We budgeted $100 and we wound up spending $148.81. Therapy, I budget $60 and we only spent $30, and that's because one of the appointments we wound up missing. It wasn't on our end, it was on his end. He still doesn't know what went on with that. Medical, I don't budget anything for medical each month. That comes out of our medical sinking fund. I wound up spending $105.30. There were 4 categories in May May that we didn't really budget for initially. Masks, clothing, pool, and garden. Now, masks, this is not something I would have had to have thought to budget for, but reality hit me that this fall, my kids are going to need masks. If they are going back to school in any way, shape, form, or capacity, they will need to wear masks daily. My high schooler has already said he wants to go to school. My middle schooler has already said he would like to go to school. So I had bought some fabric from Joann's. I am currently making masks for them for the fall. I don't know if you know how kids are. Kids lose things frequently. Any leftovers I have, I am going to be donating to the school district. That way they have some on hand as well. Clothing is a category I just plumb forgot. Hubs was the one going out, and it was just, you know, it was the last thing from our minds, to be honest, was, oh yeah, the kids are going to need summer clothes. Who thinks of that in the middle of a lockdown? Nobody. Well, at least not me. Pool. If you saw our June budget with me, you will know that we enjoy our pool. It is a gigantic pain in the butt. If you have ever owned a pool, you probably know this. Garden. Oh, my garden. How could I forget my garden? I actually did forget my garden. Our last frost date this year was actually in the beginning of June. Because our last frost date is that late, can't really plant anything until almost Memorial Day, which means if we're going to be starting seedlings inside, like tomatoes, peppers, that kind of thing, we need to be starting them at the beginning of March, beginning to middle of March. My husband kind of jumped the gun on that, and he started a lot of seeds very early. And so I didn't really have a whole lot of room for much of anything else. We wound up buying a lot of things from seedlings. What I did do is some of these I went back and added to our yearly calendar. Over here on this one side, I wrote that I wanted to add in a clothing fund again, and that I want to start budgeting for soil for next year for our garden. We can easily save up for it over a span of about 6 months, saving $50 a month, very similar to our septic fund. And then down here, it says what's coming up for June and July that I can prepare for now. And I crossed out June and July, and I actually put October because I know I'm going to need tires. And if you follow me on Instagram, you kind of got a sneak peek at how I am going to start a sinking fund for tires. My tires, I wrote here that they will pass inspection. They did pass inspection. I do not think they're going to survive the winter. Last couple years have been very rainy and wet, and we've had a decently mild winter. This summer it is very hot, humid, and dry so far, so I'm wondering if our winter is going to be frigid and snowy. Either way, my tires are about half tread. I don't think they're going to last. After I kind of review the month, our pay month overall, I go back and go through our paycheck budget. See a lot of colors here. They correspond to the different categories that I have going on. Because we are paid once a month, I have a lot of income things up there at the top, and some of it is sinking fund items. So right there, I just filled in how much I need to take from our medical sinking fund to cover what I spent on co-pays and prescriptions. And once I get all these numbers filled in, I then go through and tally. Now, this workbook I'm using is one that I created. I was finding a lot of shortfalls within other budgeting workbooks out there. I was missing reminders for things that were coming up. I was kind of missing overall glances, and some of the workbooks, because we are paid once a month, they came with 5 paycheck budget sheets per month, and to me that was just a waste. So I created this with pages that could be printed out as I needed them. So income, the income box, our total, including sinking funds, our total income for the month was $8,018.41. Again, this includes sinking funds. What our actual income was $5,850.38. But again, we had some rollover from April. We had to bring some in from our non-monthly sinking fund, some from gifting, some from medical. We've had some refunds come in from class trips that didn't happen at the end of the year, and we allocated them out. So for income, we had $8,018.41. Our savings and sinking funds were $1,064.50. Our bills were $4,218.43. For our cash envelopes, I have a note right alongside cash envelopes that said that I double counted Chewy. Chewy is counted in where I added up under my bills with my Chase, and I also counted it over in the cash envelope section, so I had to adjust for that. But we spent $1,599.05. Our debit expenses, so fuel, therapy, or propane delivery, prescriptions, we spent $512.81. And as I'm filling in that bottom corner there, that orange right next to the green is gifting, what we spent in gifting. There was a birthday in June. Overall, for the month of May, even though we were over budget on some categories like food and household and pet, miscellaneous, even though we didn't budget for things like masks and summer clothing, garden expenses, we wound up coming under by $522.02. Now, I write down here at the bottom that this money is going towards brakes. In our June budget with me, I had our car inspection coming up. I was leaving a certain amount for my husband to replace the front brakes on our car. If you also follow me on Instagram, you'll find out what happened with our back brakes during inspection. More on that during our June budget review. For now, this is how our May budget went. We were under budget by $522 and we rolled that into June. There you have it. That's our May 15th budget with me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please click that subscribe button. And until next time, bye.